I'm going to say something in the next few minutes that most of you are going to want to push back on, not because it's wrong, but because it's going to describe exactly what your law firm might be doing right now. We've consulted hundreds of personal injury law firms, including some of the largest national PI brands that are our clients. We've seen their Spanish websites, their Spanish ads, their Spanish intake calls, their Spanish social media content, just their overall Spanish marketing strategies. And across most of them, these 5 mistakes show up over and over, killing Hispanic marketing ROI before a single dollar has a chance to work. Today, I'm going to name every single one, and I'm going to tell you what each one costs. If your law firm is making all these errors, and a lot of firms are, unfortunately, you have a Hispanic marketing ROI of 0, regardless of your budget. Let's find out where you are. Before we get into it, quick context on who the hell is telling you all this. I'm Hugo E. Gomez, founder of Abogados Now, the leader in Hispanic legal marketing. We worked with over 500 law firms across the country. We've helped influence over $250 million in case fees, and we're the only Google Premier partner in Hispanic legal marketing. And that puts us in the top 3% of agencies in the entire world. Before we get into these mistakes, let me frame this correctly. Hispanic adults in the United States are the fastest growing demographic in personal injury cases. The legal need is massive. The market is underserved. The competition in Spanish PI marketing is still dramatically lower than it is in English. And yet, law firm after law firm we speak to is spending money on Hispanic marketing and getting very little back. Not because the market isn't there, but because they're making avoidable mistakes that signal to every Hispanic potential client who encounters them: this law firm is not for me. Here are the 5 mistakes. Mistake number 1, machine translated legal copy. This is the one I see most often and the one that costs law firms the most, and the one that's the easiest to spot. Google Translate legal terminology. Your law firm used Google Translate or something close to it to produce Spanish content on your website. What you got back was technically Spanish. The words are Spanish, but no Hispanic came to the United States from Mexico, El Salvador, Colombia, Puerto Rico, reads those words and feel like you're speaking directly to them and understanding their story. Legal terminology is hard enough to translate at all and even understand it in English. But even when the translation is technically correct, machine translation cannot capture register, cultural nuance, etc. It can't capture the way a Spanish-speaking injury client talks about what happened to them, what they need, who they trust. Here's what that costs your law firm. They read 3 sentences and leave. They don't call, they don't convert, and you never know why. The money you spent getting them to your website did absolutely nothing because the copy told them that you actually didn't speak directly to them. The solution: speak to the dreams, fears, and history of your local Hispanic market. Number 2, wrong regional dialect for your market. This is related, but a different problem with a different cost. The US Hispanic market is not one market. The Spanish spoken in Los Angeles is not the Spanish spoken in Miami. The vocabulary, the colloquialisms, the values, the register, it all changes by city, by country of origin, by neighborhood clusters. A law firm in South Florida running copyright in Central Mexican Spanish is not talking to the Cuban community. A law firm in Houston running copywritten for a Mexican American audience is missing the Honduran communities who live there. We have seen law firms spend 6 to 7 figures on Spanish marketing that was linguistically targeted at the wrong audience for the market. The ads ran, the clicks happened, nobody called because the law firm never actually showed up. Understand your local Hispanic market. Number 3, English-only intake teams. This one to me is the most painful because the marketing actually worked and then the law firm threw the opportunity away. English-only intake. A Spanish-speaking injury client saw your ad. They clicked, they called, they waited through some hold music, they listened to some phone menu in English, and then someone picked up the phone and started immediately speaking in English. That potential client is probably going to hang up. This happens thousands of times a day at law firms across the country. The lead was real, the interest was real, the case was real, the injuries were real, and it evaporated the exact moment it should have been caught because nobody at the law firm was prepared to speak to a client in Spanish. We have documented this across our network tens of thousands of times. Law firms with Spanish marketing and English-only intake are paying to generate leads they can't close. Every single call dropped is money wasted. And the solution is very simple. Get a dedicated phone number for your Spanish advertising. Make sure that they route directly to a live agent who speaks Spanish. No phone menus, live conversations. Number 4, no cultural trust signals. This one is more subtle, but the damage is just as real. Inauthentic visuals and cultural presence. Look at the images on your Spanish landing page right now. That is, if you even have a dedicated Spanish landing page right now. Who is in those photos? Do they look like your clients? Does it look like your community? A stock photo of a smiling family in a suburban kitchen that doesn't look Hispanic will not land in a marketing campaign that's targeted towards Hispanic personal injury clients. It signals, hey, we didn't think about you specifically. We sort of translated our stuff, and we're hoping that you can trust us enough because we put this stuff in Spanish. The law firms in our network with the highest Hispanic conversion rates have invested in real creative, photography and video that features people who looks like their community, their clients, in settings that feel familiar, and messaging that reflects how Hispanic clients actually think about legal help, family, dignity, justice, protection, immigration rights. Trust is built before the call, and trust requires that your law firm actually looks like it belongs in the conversation. The solution, buy real stock photography from your local Hispanic community, and do not, and I repeat, do not opt into AI slop. That's going to be even worse for your marketing. Mistake number 5, your Spanish website is invisible to Google. This one has the biggest price tag. I'm going to give you a number that stops people every time I talk about it. In markets where 35% or more of the population is Hispanic, and there are hundreds of those across the country, the average PI law firm without optimized Spanish SEO loses 14 rankable cases every single month to competitors. 14 cases. If we're talking averages on case value, that's close to $200,000 per month or $2.5 million a year. That went to a competitor, not because your law firm lost them in a pitch, not because your intake failed. It's because when a Spanish-speaking injury client typed a search into Google, your law firm simply did not show up. We have documented this across hundreds of law firms over the last 8+ years. The opportunity in Spanish SEO is enormous, and increasingly so in AI SEO, because almost nobody is doing it correctly. So here's what I want you to sit with. If your law firm is making all 5 of these mistakes, and many of the law firms we talk to are, your Hispanic marketing ROI is 0. Not low, not below average, 0. You can pour any amount of money into Spanish ads, Spanish content, Spanish campaigns. But if these issues are underneath it, the money does nothing. The good news, and I mean this, is that every single one of these mistakes is very fixable. None of them require you to rebuild your entire marketing operation or rethink your entire business. They simply require you to look honestly at what you're doing and making specific changes. The law firms working with Abogados Now that fixed all of these mistakes saw their Hispanic marketing performance transform, not incrementally, dramatically, because they went from 0 ROI to a working system. And in a market that's this underserved, a working system always wins. This is what Abogados Now does for PI law firms nationwide. We built the standard in Hispanic PI marketing that fixes every one of these mistakes. We've done it across hundreds of law firms nationwide. We know exactly where your law firm is making these mistakes, and we know exactly how to fix them so that you get more cases. If you want to know which of these mistakes your law firm is making right now, we'll tell you. A strategy call with our team is a diagnostic call, not a sales pitch. Sidebar, we hate sales calls too. Find the link below in the call notes, book a call, and let's find out exactly what's sitting between your law firm and the thousands of Hispanic cases that you deserve to get right now.